Have you ever wondered why certain negative cycles keep repeating in your life, no matter how much you pray or try to change? The truth is, demons don't just randomly attack. They often use legal rights to gain access. And unless you identify and cancel these rights, you may keep experiencing the same battles over and over. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to identify those rights so you can finally shut the door for good. But before we dive in, make sure to hit subscribe because in upcoming videos, I'll be sharing practical strategies for breaking these legal claims once and for all. First, let's define what we mean by legal rights. In the spiritual realm, demons can't simply do whatever they want. They look for permissions, legal grounds that give them the right to operate. These rights usually come from unrepented sin, generational curses, ungodly covenants, or even careless words we've spoken. Think of it like a contract. Once signed, it gives the enemy access until it's revoked. Here's the key insight. If you only rebuke the demon but never deal with the right it's standing on, the battle continues. That's why identifying the root is critical. In a moment, I'll reveal the 3 most common ways people unknowingly grant access, and the subtle signs that tell you it's happening. How do you know if a legal right is in play? Here are a few signs. 1. Recurring patterns. You break free from an addiction, fear, or relationship issue, but it keeps returning. 2. Unexplainable resistance. Every time you move forward spiritually, financially, or emotionally, it feels like something pulls you back. 3. Inherited struggles. If the same negative patterns appear in your family line, it often points to generational rights. These aren't coincidences, they're red flags. Later in this video, I'll share how to begin dismantling those rights so the enemy loses access. Let's look at the 3 biggest sources of demonic legal rights. 1. Unrepented sin. Ongoing sin without confession and repentance creates a standing contract. 2. Ungodly covenants. This includes occult involvement, ancestral rituals, or even vows spoken in ignorance. 3. Words and agreements. Proverbs says life and death are in the power of the tongue. Negative declarations, curses, or lies we agree with can become binding agreements. Understanding these open doors is step 1, but identifying which one applies to your life is the key. In just a moment, I'll give you a simple but powerful framework to do that. Here's the framework. Ask yourself 3 questions. Where is the cycle repeating? This points to the door. What agreements have I made, verbally or in action? What patterns exist in my family line? As you answer these, patterns will emerge. And once you've identified them, you're no longer fighting in the dark. You know exactly where the enemy's claim is rooted. Let me give you a brief story about my own personal experience. At age 10, I began to notice a unique gift. I could see things before they happened. During times of worship, my spirit was quickened, and I would enter trances where I spoke revelations I could not consciously control. My parents soon recognized this and often involved me in midnight prayers. What I revealed during these trances gave them guidance, direction, and confidence in prayer. My father, who came from a lineage deeply involved in spiritualism and covenants with deities, had given his life to Christ and dedicated our family to the service of God. This decision stirred serious spiritual confrontations. My gift became a key tool in his battles, and the victories we experienced often came through the revelations God gave me. However, the opposing spirits in my family lineage sought to weaken me. Through manipulation, an aunt lured me into sin, and from that moment, I lost my spiritual sensitivity. My parents quickly noticed the difference and were disappointed by what had happened. Years later, at age 20, I began to experience a recurring cycle of sickness every year from September to February. This strange affliction continued for 6 years. In prayer, I applied the pattern of Daniel 9, repentance, intercession, and covenant renewal. God revealed that the sickness was tied to a generational cycle of hardship within my family during those same months. Once I prayed specifically against it, both the sickness and the cycle of hardship were broken. The following year was marked by abundance and celebration. At age 33, while preparing for marriage, I heard a voice declare that I would never marry. I rejected it immediately in faith, but soon faced intense opposition at work. False allegations and attacks mounted until I was eventually dismissed along with a colleague after a staged conflict. Despite this setback, I pressed forward with marriage plans. By God's direction, I simplified the wedding arrangements, and my wife's family supported me wholeheartedly. The marriage was successful despite the opposition. Afterward, my mother-in-law revealed that she discerned the presence of a spiritual wife in my life and advised me to address it. Initially, I resisted, but after continued spiritual battles and night violations, I confronted the issue. I acknowledged before God that although I did not understand how the covenant began, I was willing to seek peace. But if the Spirit broke that peace, I asked God to execute vengeance, standing on His word. This marked a turning point in my deliverance journey. In this brief story, you notice the activities of familiar and monitoring spirit. In the next video, I'll walk you step by step through how to revoke these legal rights so they no longer hold you bound, and warfare prayers to combat monitoring and familiar spirit. So, if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because you don't want to miss the keys that will finally set you free. See you in the next video. God bless you.